Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Going Organic webinar series. Welcome to the 2024 Going Organic webinar series. This is our leading organic and food processing breeding seminar that we conduct every month. This is our third seminar. I am Dil Tavaraja. I'm a professor in the Pulse Quality and Nutritional Breeding Program at the Plant and Environmental Sciences Department and the Clemson University, South Carolina. Our Going Organic program is sponsored by the NIFA OREI program. Other funding sources are South Carolina Department of Agriculture, the Good Food Institute, and the USDA Agriculture Research Services, USDA ARS. And today is our third Going Organic webinar. This webinar series highlights the organic production system linking to food production, sustainability, and food processing. Today we have the global speaker, and it is my great honor to introduce you Dr. Mehmet Tulbek, and he's one of my good old friends, and we met in North Dakota State University. I was a professor, assistant professor, and he was the director at the Northern Food Institute. So Dr. Mehmet is the president of Saskatchewan Food Industry Development Center, and he's responsible for the board of directors for the strategy, planning, management, control, and evaluation of the center. He has been a global leader for 20 years for pulse crops, cereals, oilseeds, and plant-based food production. Dr. Mehmet completed his BSc in agricultural engineering. He is an engineer with the emphasis in food science and technology at Ankara University in Turkey. And then he got his MSc in food engineering again in the beautiful city, Istanbul Technical University in Turkey. And then he moved to United States and he got his PhD in the cereal science department at the North Dakota State University. And then he served as the research director at the Northern Crops Institute before he moved into Canada. He has been the globally recognized the leader of food processing and plant-based proteins. So with my great introduction, I would love to invite you to take the platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Tavaraja. It's been a pleasure talking at the Going Organic webinar today. Let me share my screen here.
Yes.
Thank you. Can you see it? All good?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much again for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure talking about the research and commercialization solutions for alternative protein and upcycled food ingredients. In this webinar, I'll be talking about two sections here. In the first section, we'll be talking about our organization, the Food Center, and what we are doing and how we are helping in this whole alternative protein and upcycled food ingredient side. And in the second part, we'll be talking about especially what's happening in Western Canada, some of the things going on around the new investments, new developments, and what type of co-products, byproducts coming in Western Canada, and some of the solutions we can provide with our new investments and new technologies. So with that, Saskatchewan Food Industry Development Center has been established in 1997 as a kind of a standalone unit to provide innovation for the agri-food sector in Saskatchewan. It was established with a consortium between the Government of Saskatchewan, University of Saskatchewan, as well as the Food Processors Association at that time to support the agri-food sector. It's a not-for-profit incorporation. So we're not part of the university or government, but we have arm's length relationship. It has strong focus on local crop and meat utilization, plant-based foods, ingredients. Over the last 20 years, we helped develop, process, manufacture over 1,050 products and supported over 510 clients, and in all sectors on the agri-food industry. We have over 60 people, full-time workers, staff, professional staff, and over with all the part-times and the part-time workers, we are close to 95 employees at the food center. So the overall our role is really we do our activities with really based on our four pillars. We create, connect, collaborate, and commercialize for our clients. 90% of our work is really confidential under NDA with our clients, but we do work about 10% with grower groups or universities or different partnerships around different granting programs to support different research and commercialization needs. But the main activity is really to grow and to expand and drive the innovation with Saskatchewan, Western Canadian agricultural inputs and driving more the plant-based food, support entrepreneurship, reduce capital risk, and support commercialization of new technologies, research and development. So we are based in Western Canada in the province of Saskatchewan in the city of Saskatoon. And here, it's basically the reason that this city is really important because this is becoming a major science and technology hub for North America with the National Research Council, Agriculture, Agri-Food Canada, which is the equivalent of USDA. All the breeding programs, crop quality programs, crop development center, synchrotron, Canadian light source, and several companies and the new investments and incubators, they're all in the city. It's a city about 400,000, but it became a major science and technology hub since I came about 10 years ago, and the overall growth is moving forward because there's basically the province is the capital of specialty crops in North America. We can grow harder spring wheat, durum wheat, all the specialty cereals, oats, barley. It's a major producer of peas, lentils, fava beans, chickpeas, as well as it's a major producer of canola, flaxseed, and hemp crops. So, and mustard. When you think about those, the overall, the mass land and the amount of crop grown in the province, because of that, there's a major interest in the agri-food innovation. And because of that, we have major clientele, not only in Canada and US, but all over the world that we've been working with so many companies in the utilization of all these different products. So the overall services we provide is from product development to extrusion R&D, manufacturing, incubation, crop quality, ingredient science and technology, food safety skills development. We have a startup women in agri-food entrepreneurship program where we support women entrepreneurs. We have an inspection services program, engineering process authority services, and the last program that we've been adding is the fermentation and bioengineering, which is quite important for all these alternative proteins, improvement of the proteins, as well as the utilizing of the upcycled ingredients in this agri-food industry. So currently we have two plants, our pilot plant and Agri-Food Innovation Center. This is a 10,000 square feet facility. This is about 60,000 square feet facility. And here in these facilities, we can work on different meat, dairy, processed foods, honey, HACCP certified, PRC certified, organic, halal, kosher capabilities, FDA approval capabilities with a wide variety of product applications. We have over 200 pieces of equipment with trained operators with incubation suites. So overall, the capability when you think about from the proteins, starches, flours, fibers coming from the peas, lentils, fava beans, chickpeas, edible beans, or oil seeds like canola, canola meal, downstream processing. So all those technologies can be applied within these facilities, not only for contract research, but also contract manufacturing, or we can manufacture products from these ingredients as well. So everything starts with the product development. When you look at a contract research or a contract commercialization system, everything starts with the product development. We take an overall case study, whether it's grandma's recipe for a cookie or cracker or like a gravy. And then from there, we work on based on the client's needs. But what we do here is basically we take the product, we take an ingredient, we solve the problem at a lab scale, benchtop. We work on different ingredient applications, new and improved food products, clean label, product scale up, sensory evaluations, shelf life determination, nutritional labeling, and food safety, regulatory compliance, and we also support the companies with their funding applications as well. So over the last 15 years, the center has developed global expertise around plant-based meat, especially meat products, plant-based meat analogs for from small SMEs to large SMEs to multinationals. We help them develop so many different products by using extrusion technology or different forming technology. So these are some examples that we can produce different plant-based meat analogs with different colors by using caramel or tomato powder or different ingredients, coming up with different solutions for the plant-based meat industry. So some of the examples here you can see meatloaf, calamari, pulled pork, Asian stir fry, a chicken nugget, and also the plant-based dairy, whether it's hard cheese or shredded cheese or an oat milk. These are different ingredients that we can work on by utilizing these valorized ingredients, whether it's a pea protein or deflavored pea protein or fava bean protein or another deflavored fava bean protein or fava bean starch, pea fiber, or a fava bean fiber or canola protein or different ingredients. So that's to give that there is overall the combinations are endless. You can use so many different ingredients. In general, everything boils down to the taste and to the price and the consumer perception for these products. As long as the consumers like it and the price works, there is a major potential of growth for these products in the next 20 to 30 years, not only for the sustainability benefits or other benefits, because there is a major need for food applications, food ingredients, period, because of the increasing population and issues on the global food security. So we have to be looking for all kinds of different food solutions, whether it's an alternative protein base or meat based or upcycled food ingredient based. Some additional ingredients we can work on in different applications, such as bakery applications, extruded, co-extruded pet food or kibbles or different snacks for the plant-based pet food applications, energy bars, direct expanded snacks, lentil clusters, or dairy-free lentil-based ice cream. So these are all the different applications we can work on and develop different concepts or scale up and commercialize these products, produce these products at a scale where the clients they can get in the marketplace. So if you look at the full capability, we have that full capabilities to support these different ingredients from meat and vegan meats to condiments, fruits and vegetables, beverages, snacks, dry mixes, cheese and dairy, as well as ready-to-eat applications. So these are all the different examples that we can put from hummus to snacks to baking mixes to snack bars and the protein bars. One example is really alternative for alternative ingredients is the energy bars. It's really one of the easiest and really a high value solution for these products because you can make bars from 28 gram to 35 gram to 40 gram different packaging sizes. And then we can develop these bars at 5,000 bars a day, which is about 25,000 bars a week for the companies to utilize and help them their ingredients in different applications, whether it's a new SKU or like a showcase or use these products in a new launch at a major grocery chain. And these products can be from flaxseed to oats, or like an oat protein to pea protein, more like a dense products. And really you have to think about combining different proteins too to increase the PDCAS and the protein quality scores of these ingredients as well. These solutions can be really achieved really well in energy bar applications. Other products that we deal with is mainly because of the interest in irrigation and organic fruit and vegetable production in Western Canada. And this is happening a lot in southern Alberta and all over in Alberta and Saskatchewan, mainly by irrigation or sometimes in different greenhouses and different applications. And we are looking at a lot of production and contract manufacturing of jams, spreads, sauces, and condiments. And some of those alternative ingredients can be utilized in these markets as well, whether as a binder or in some cases to help with the viscosity, other applications too. So that's another wide area that because of the interest in the local food and the grow local and consume local type of activities, we are seeing more and more development and contract work in jams, spreads, and these applications. Meat and alternative meat, it's always growing. There's a major interest by the marketplace for both meat and alternative products. And here, the main applications are around bacon, jerky, sausages, pork ribs, burgers, and ham. The western provinces of Canada are very similar to um, central states of the US, like Texas, Oklahoma. There's a major agricultural husbandry, more like animal husbandry, especially beef cattle, pork production. And when you look at that, there's a major need. But not only that, because of the alternative protein needs through Western provinces, California, or other parts of the country, we do produce quite a bit of products in the alternative versions of these hams and burgers and other things by using wheat gluten, pea protein, oat protein, fava bean protein, and different applications, similar technologies, different ingredients. So again, there has been a major interest of this whole plant-based meat analogs, and because of all those things that we generate and develop different products for these markets. The other technology that we look at for especially this research and commercialization is the extrusion R&D to manufacturing and contract manufacturing. This is a major area where we can utilize the proteins, starches, flours, and fibers, or like a fermented proteins or other upcycled ingredients in different formats. These can be snack foods, breakfast cereals, texturized proteins, meat analogs. So at the food center, we have 5 extruders. 4 of them are twin screw, 1 of them single screw, and we can generate and produce so many different products, whether it's an ingredient development or different formats, whether it's a TVP or meat analog, or in some cases like companion animal foods or industrial applications. And these products can be utilized in different applications, whether it's a meat analog or used in different applications too. And when you look at the level of ingredients from pulses to cereals, rice, quinoa, crickets, alternative proteins, fermented proteins, upcycled ingredients, these are all the ingredients that we can help utilize. And the main reason for that is extrusion is really a compacting technology. So you can take a powder and create a compaction, whether it's a high bulk density or a low bulk density, and then we can transform it into something edible. So that's the main reason that extrusion is another important technology for us. The next one is the ingredient science and technology. And in this area, we work with companies, especially with alternative proteins, starches, flours, fibers, to dry and wet fractionate, isolation, modification of ingredients. And what are the key techniques and the methodologies we look here is mainly to improve the taste, improve the functionality, improve palatability, and improve the particle size to make sure the product flows well. So this department really works on those areas with co-product utilization, byproduct evaluations, food application recommendations, as well as shelf life and other product-based testing capabilities. So we have a team of scientists program that we work on different drying technologies, especially like microwave-assisted vacuum drying, spray drying, tray drying, fluidized bed drying, or different centrifuge systems, different washing systems, where we can modify these ingredients. When you look at some of the food safety and skills development training, this is really a door opener. This is very important for all that industry, for the alternative proteins and upcycled ingredients, because without the proper certifications, GFSI, FSSC, or ISO or HACCP, whatever the program, food safety program you are using, you need to get those certifications, have your team trained to produce food safe, globally food safe ingredients or the products to sell it to the market. So we have a department working with the companies, helping them with their needs in the food safety and skills development. A crop quality program, this is a partnership with Saskatchewan pulse growers, very similar to pulse program that what you are doing in Clemson. This program is really helping the breeders to check the quality of the pulse crops in terms of end product quality. So this program tests about 3,000 samples a year, peas, lentils, fava beans, chickpeas, grown from Manitoba all the way to Peace River region in the BC, British Columbia, and looking at the functionality of these crops with G by E, genotype and environment evaluations. And we look at functionality, nutrition, and the program is growing based on the needs of the pulse industry, pulse growers, and we work very closely with the grower groups on this. When you get into research and the commercialization of the alternative ingredient, it's really important to understand the scale. And really the scale and sizing and using the right equipment, right type of technology, right type of drying, you need to have some understanding on the engineering. And we have that program to help the companies on the engineering side, whether to establish process simulation modeling or techno-economic analysis or to run sustainability life cycle analysis. So with that, this is another important part of that whole research and the commercialization of these alternative ingredients that our programs, they really support the companies in this area, and especially on the CapEx, selecting the right equipment, selecting the right operating expenditures, and to calculate what's the price of this product, how much are we going to sell it into market, what's the overall return on investment on this investment or the process we are looking at. Because if it doesn't work on a small scale, in a pilot scale, it may not work in the production. So it's important for the companies at the startup level to understand like how are we going to improve and where is the price going to be for these applications. And we do help a lot the companies if they're pet finding services to connect them with the universities, government groups, whether provincial government, federal government, with their funding resources and to help their business requirements. So our center really helps the companies to find their paths accordingly. We have a female entrepreneur group. This is really important as we get more women involved in the businesses, in the leadership roles, and women more. This is a group really we are helping startup women founders in the agri-food space. So it's helping indigenous women, newcomer women, new immigrant women, as well as women from rural areas, mainly from farm communities, and helping them develop their new businesses, help them with their coaching, mentorship, community building. We have several programs through accelerators and business development, a team of 3 staff working in this field. We have about 500 women founders now in this 6 provinces and 2 territories, and helping these women to excel further in their businesses. We run a campaign around green prints, mainly to promote environmental sustainability. Communication is really important. And this next one will be next week about navigating the net zero carbon in Canadian agri-food. And this is becoming a really important thing to contain the carbon capture and to make sure we don't utilize so much energy to keep our products more at a reasonable rate so that we wouldn't create so much greenhouse gases and utilize so much water within the agri-food supply chain. So those are some of the areas that we address in this new campaign for the companies. So in the second part, I like to talk a little bit about, what is the overall area, what are the areas that we are looking at Western Canada in Saskatchewan, and how can we push Saskatchewan with new ingredients with this whole research and commercialization, what's happening in Western Canada, share some of my insights, what's happening here, and then what would be the overall impact can be done in other parts of United States too. But again, because we are dealing with such a specialty crop production province, the overall capabilities are like quite unique. But at the end, with whatever we do on the economic development is really the key for this. The overall activities that we deal with is really targeting the first couple points of the sustainable development goals of the United Nations. And number one is really to create more economic development, reduce the poverty, and to create zero hunger. So these are the really critical things for us that we deal. as we help with this whole economic development with the alternative proteins or ingredients and the commercialization of these products. So when you look at Saskatchewan, you're looking at a major commodity province, looking at a significant amount of resources, a lot of product, and there's several of them. They're not in the list, from uranium and so many other resources the province has. But again, the main challenge in these type of provinces, this is similar in Montana, similar in North Dakota, in parts of United States too. These type of provinces, states, they try to transform themselves from more commodity to the value-added sectors. So these type of products, they are being produced and sold to other countries or other provinces or states, or exported to overseas countries. The main area for the regional governments is to transform these type of products and to sell it at a much higher value. So those are the main areas that we focus, and the province has major goals here to generate for the region. So when you look at some of the investments around the pulses, this is only Saskatchewan, and I can add Alberta and Manitoba too. There's a major interest in different companies to develop new facilities in the pulse processing. When you think about pulses, this is peas, lentils, fava beans, chickpeas, and then these are all proteins, starch, fiber, flour, or different transform ingredients like pastas or texturized proteins or other ingredients. So the main focus in this business for the province and for us and for the overall community in the research and commercialization is the starch. Because when you deal with the pulse processing, the highest ingredient cost when you manufacture these products, you fractionate, is the protein. And there's so much need in the market to sell the protein, but the starch is widely available in North America. So we need to create the value for the starch for these businesses to create more food and industrial use, more starch ecosystem and fermentation and cellular agriculture applications to process and utilize most of the starch at much higher value. And this is really the overall breakdown for the pulse processing industry. When you look at the pulse protein isolates, they tend to have a much higher value. Pulse protein concentrates, they tend to have a little bit lower value. And then the flours and especially starches, they are like at much lower value. So the goal for this industry and that whole research and commercialization to increase the value of the starch and take them to the next level so that we can have a much healthier industry, healthier factories for the entire ecosystem. And this is similar in the corn processing industry in the United States. When you look at the products, we have X amount of oil coming, X amount of protein coming as corn gluten meal. And starch is a valuable product because it's turned out to be a ethanol, or we can turn it into a high fructose corn syrup, or we can create like modified ingredients. But in this case, the highest denominator is the protein. So we need to find solutions for these low-cost ingredients, especially starch and the fiber. When you get into canola, there's a lot of interest in canola crushing in the province, and there's more in Alberta and Manitoba, other parts of Canada too. And all these new 5 factories coming in, what happens is, as the province, as Canada crushes more canola, we'll be ending up with a lot of canola meal, excess canola meal. And however, what are we going to do with this canola meal? Are we going to turn it into a feed? Are we going to extract it into more protein, or coming up with different fermentation and cellular agriculture applications? Is it going to be utilized in food? Is it going to be utilized in aquaculture? So these are all the new needs for the value proposals for that byproduct. And canola meal can be a small ingredient for that North American marketplace, because in the US we are looking at soybean manufacturing, and when you extract soybean oil, the main product coming out is the soybean meal. But there's a major need for soybean meal with the entire pork, the hog industry, the beef, as well as the poultry. What are the needs for this specialty product that we need to look for? So then we are looking at, is it going to be downstream processing, extracting protein, or other type of ingredients? When we look at the meat, there is a huge need on the meat, and this is the same trend in the US too. We are looking at quite a bit of artisanal, ethnic, local crossovers and the pet food innovation on the meat products. And this is really important for us to grow more and more because of the changing demographics. The North American demographics is not the same. We have more immigrants coming, changing demographics. There's a lot of need for Filipino sausages or different ethnic products or different crossover products. And there's a major need and more meat snacks. The people, they are not consuming as much cut meat, but they're consuming much more meat snacks. So those are all the needs that's changing the industry as well. As we look at the oats, flaxseed, and the hemp, again, the protein is quite important here. We are looking at more valorization for the flour and the fiber of these products, and especially low cost, clean label, and competition. So the low energy, low cost, low greenhouse gas, low carbon footprint. These are the critical applications for the products because you can manufacture any ingredient, but you may go back to the market say, oh, this is $25 per kg. Nobody will buy that. The products need to be at an acceptable level so that we can sell the product, the company can make money, the transformation cost will be reasonable, and then the consumers, they can receive these products, buy these products at a reasonable price too. These are quite important. And again, like when you look at the vision on this whole research and commercialization, the business, financial impact, sustainability, job growth, and the knowledge and technology transfer, these are really the key tools for us to push for the future frontiers. And again, we are looking at in Saskatchewan to be a future ag ecosystem. And there are some examples of these ecosystems in the world. This picture is from Wageningen in Netherlands. This is from Omaha, Nebraska. And there are several big ones that are growing like almost piece by piece, factory after factory, university after university. And in terms of research clusters, you can look at several places like Berkeley and other places in the United States as major clusters ecosystems, but we need to be doing it more and more. So in order to address some of the needs of this whole growing fermentation and the bioengineering, Food Center is established as a new third facility. We are in the process of commissioning and opening it this summer as a new advanced food ingredients center. So in this facility, we'll be addressing primarily the new value-added ingredients, advanced ingredients, especially on the fermentation and the bioengineering side. And we'll be servicing the industry as a contract research and as a contract manufacturing organization. We'll be looking at from conventional fermentation all the way to synthetic biology. So we are putting two suites here. It's an additional 8,000 square feet facility where we are going to have a precision fermentation, solid state fermentation, and the downstream processing facility. And the reason for that is really the alternative proteins, alternative starch, co-product utilization, and these new product needs for the province and as well as for Canada and the North American marketplace. So here we are looking at primarily a basic conventional fermented products such as sourdough and tempeh. We are looking at bacterial biomass like probiotics, plant inoculants, looking at mycelial biomass like texturized food ingredients, again, inoculants. We are looking at value drive like bioactives, hydrolyzed proteins, reduced anti-nutritional factors and alcohols. And on the precision side, synthetic biology and cellular agriculture. And the main reason is when we use fermentation by using different cellular processes, enzymes, we have that capability to produce fermented products, enzymes, bioactive compounds, probiotics, more like highly improved, low anti-nutritional proteins and different type of ingredients. Then we can add these products into different applications with the food additives or food coloring applications or specialty modified ingredients as well. And the main area is as we utilize these type of products, then we can tap into different product development needs, ingredient innovation needs, and extrusion needs for the entire ecosystem, but making sure that these products will be costing at a reasonable level, and then we'll be manufacturing it in a reasonable way without increasing the price and the cost, as well as with increasing the energy, carbon footprint, and the water utilization of these products. These are really important. That's why fermentation and the bioengineering, the transformation of these products are quite important and critical for the growing um, industry. So the whole idea is we are adding this AFIC2, Advanced Food Ingredients, as a new tool to help the startups and the Canadian ecosystem, primarily from the National Research Council to Natural Products Canada, different startup groups, and as well as incubators, so that we can help these companies scale up at that 20,000 liter fermentation capacity, where we can produce some more scalable products for the companies at like 1 to 2 metric ton a day. So that's really the need of the industry now. When you look at the fermentation capability, there are some new investments coming in Indiana, Ohio, and other parts of North America too, but there is still drop in the bucket. This business is going to be about 2.4 to 2.7 trillion dollars in the next couple of years. It's really growing, huge opportunities for the entire agri-food industry and for the global food security. So to address that, we added this capability. And with that, I like to stop here, try to keep it around 36 minutes. This is my email. You can reach me, and then this is our website. I will be glad to share the presentation with you if you have any questions. And then with that, I'll get back to Dr. Dill again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Telbert. Thank you so much. This is absolutely wonderful. And as I remember, you were breaking those sourdough breads at the NCI. We were like running to get it. It's just amazing work that you have been doing. But I wanted to first ask this several questions, but with the time, I might have to limit some questions. But one of the global questions that I wanted to ask, I think we discussed this 10 years ago too. People were so scared on ultra processing food because they when I think about ultra processing food, I think about ham and those luncheon meat and stuff. So how do you handle like all these wonderful things that you make with the different crops? um, how do we convince people to eat better food, like
Yeah,
are
I
they
mean,
this is
yeah.
ultra processed?
There's been some discussion around that with that whole NOVA classification. I mean, the jury is still out there, it hasn't been decided, but there are two sides, and I think both sides, they have quite valid tools talking about, it's ultra process. The process is going through several different stages, and the whole goal for us is really to reduce the amount of these processes for the companies. But in some cases, depending on the selection of the ingredient, it's the company's decision. So we are more a facilitator in these cases and an expert in the processing side, and we make the recommendation to make sure you keep the costs down, you make the step of the processes low, so that it's not going to be processed too much, not because it will be ultra processed or not, to make sure that it's going to cost low and it's going to have much low energy input, and then it'll be a low carbon process. So that's really one of the tools that we suggest. But in some cases, the companies, they come and they like to pick up more like a extra processed, extra, or like a ultra processed type of products. Um, Basically, we are right now observing the situation. I'm not like in a position to say whether ultra processed food is like a good or bad, because there's been a lot of studies going on, and there's been still a lot of debate in that area going on. And there's certain really valid points from both sides. As long as, to me, we keep our portions small, and then we keep an healthy, like a food consumption pattern, it should be okay. I think some of the reasons that we are seeing this unhealthy patterns is because we eat too much and our portions are too big too. So
Yeah, and I'm so excited looking at all those pictures that you show us. The next question, um, how do you preserve the flavor, color in during the food processing.
Yeah, I mean on the especially I saw the message like more on the pulses side. The off flavor is no concern in the pulses. It's the nature of the pulses, and the best way to in a clean label way to get rid of the flavor is heat and moisture and steam together. There are
Okay.
technologies where you can remove the taste and flavor, this whole aroma compounds, especially those aldehydes and ketones to be removed. And in general, it really works well with the application of thermal treatment, like a heat and steam together, and the product dried back again.
Yes.
The reason I'm saying that because it's a clean label process. When you use steam and water, you thermally treat it, you inactivate some of those flavor compounds, and you dry the product, you mill it back again. So that's really a major tool. It can be applied, and it is going to make the product clean label. Now, there are ways also you can do it with alcohol wash, or more like alcohol, water, aqueous solvents to clean the flavor. But then, because you'll use alcohol there, the product may not be um accepted as a clean label by certain organizations and groups, and it may be much costly too. So there are ways to handle the flavor and taste. And of course, when you apply some thermal treatment, there will be some change in the functionality, but again, or taste, I should say the protein quality too. But again, there are ways to mitigate that as well.
That's absolutely great answer. That's what we were going on that route. The next question is like how much you interact with the breeders and then how much this information go back to the breeders, uh, breeding program.
We work with the breeders very closely with the lentil breeder, pea breeder, chickpea breeder here, the bean breeder. We have 4 breeders and also other cereals and other specialty crops. Two Crop Development Center is one of our partners. They're part of the university, so we help their needs. We answer their questions. This is basically an ongoing communication, and some of the observations that we see, whether in the product quality, on the crop quality program, or other things, we get back to them with our observations and recommendations. Because if there's an impact that they can make in the production side by improving these seeds, the new varieties, the pipeline varieties, it'll be better for the grower as well.
Yeah, that's makes sense. There's a question from Dr. Shaib. He's a retired soybean breeder. So he is asking, in general, what is the comparison in cost to consumer? You have been touched this between plant protein products and traditional animal uh, protein food. How do you think the cost difference will change in the next 10 years? You touch in some of these points.
Yeah. And we've been observing it quite closely. Normally, what we like to see is basically 1 to 1.5. So if like the unit cost for a burger is $1, we like to see the unit cost for a plant-based burger at 1.5, maybe 1.6, 1.7. But during COVID and right after COVID, we did see a major opening up there. And that was because of the supply chain issues and availability of the ingredients and the inflation and several other problems, changing interest rates. So in some cases between that 2020, that anniversary was just yesterday, March 12th, and after that 2020 to 2022, we saw some of those plant-based meat products especially went up to times 2, times 2.5, times 3 range. The price went significantly up. Now we started to see them back again, but there's quite a bit of work going back to the companies too. They have to reduce the costs. They have to look at the type of ingredients where they can mitigate the prices too. So ideally, we see it at 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 range. And the reason for that is because if people they consume plant-based, there has to be a premium. So they need to be spending a little bit more. We like to make a premium product. But again, if it's too high, then people they can't afford it. So Europeans they are really going after with some of their internal programs and supporting consumer groups or other things, trying to take the prices down. But it'll take a while. And in North America, because of our size and our transportation costs and our logistics and supply chain costs, it may not be as easy here.
That's reached to our time. I have one last question from Dr. Gosh, and he is asking how CRISPR-Cas9 kind of technologies go with this, your food processing technologies. If you can give a
Yeah.
brief.
Actually, there's been some work going on. I don't want to name anybody, but there's been some work going on the CRISPR-Cas9 technologies to improve the taste flavor of some of these crops being grown. And I think it's going to really provide some sound scientific proof and long-term solutions for the breeders and for the production industry. In terms of the CRISPR, it's pretty much accepted by CFIA that CRISPR technology is safe for people, but they haven't made the decision. I think it's just about that negotiations and the situation with the Europeans, that they don't want to scare the market and the export markets, just saying that the CRISPR is accepted. So if we can pass those regulatory discussions and move it to the next level, I think CRISPR will be a really solid technology that we'll be able to use globally.
Yeah, thank you. And last question is this before we wrapping up, Dr. Talbot, this is so wonderful. Do you think the US universities can collaborate with you and especially?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We have several partners in US as well as in international too. We don't make a lot of big projects, but like we are kind of their critical strategic partners. If you like to, we'll be certainly open to work with you.
We would be very, very happy. And thank you so much. And this was wonderful, and we learned a lot
Thank you.
from you. And our next speaker is um, the executive director from the Global Food Shop, Dr. Sarah Eckhouse, and we will be very, very excited to hear because all these global leaders are coming together in this webinar. So I hope you guys all will join next seminar. It's on April 17, 2024. And thank you, Dr. Mehmet, again, and we will see you all again. Thank you so much.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye-bye. Thank you.